Welcome to the Ross Patterson Revolution!
Oh, welcome, kids, to another fine episode of the Ross Patterson Revolution. It is beautiful day here, sunny. It's nice out. I saw a woman walking down the street with a facial mask on today. A full-on thing. Is that a ladies and gentlemen, we got Jesse Wiseman on the show. Jables, the Jabler. Are you ready, Willing and Jables? Is that a thing now? Are women just putting masks on, walking down the street?
I
like a facial mask.
I don't put anything past anyone, but so just walking
a
down
dog.
the street.
Walking her dog.
Oh,
like nothing was happening.
I'm gonna also bet that she was Asian. But yeah.
You know what? Don't know because I couldn't see underneath the mask.
She was.
Okay.
So yeah, they've got all of the technology. They've got all the latest shit, and they have no qualms.
But how many fucks do you not have to give to just walk down the street with a mask on, walking your dog?
Well, you've seen them walking. They wear gloves. They wear the crazy visor mask.
Yeah, but this is a full. It was a green facial mask, some sort of mud, maybe mixed with guava.
Listen.
I don't even know what else is in that. There was some form of a seed. It looked like little tiny strawberry seeds, or perhaps a blackberry seed, something like that. It was a fresh fruit, a seed of a fresh fruit on her face. She was walking with a smile. Little Shar-Pei, adorbs, and they were just heading to the park like nothing was going on. So it was early in the morning, like just around the 8 a.m. area where it's like, all right, nobody's really up and going to the park. So you're probably gonna have it to yourself, I guess.
Right.
Or you went to bed the night before and you forgot about it. You just woke up and you're like, I gotta walk the dog. Boom, I got a fucking mask on, and I'm gonna do my thing. And then maybe she got home, caught a glimpse of herself in the side mirror and was like, "Oh fuck, I just walked my dog with a mask on.
Yeah,
I look like Jim Carrey walking down the fucking street, and I had no idea. I haven't had one personally, so I don't know what it feels like. I don't know if she could feel it. I don't know what her story was.
I don't know what her story is either, but I'm sure she has no shame, like most fucking Americans.
Okay,
She had no shame. It was just like, the outdoors is my living room.
Why not?
Why not?
It's kind of like those
facial mask.
Yeah, no, I get it. It's kind of like those people who take their shoes off on planes, where you're just like, oh man, are you barefoot right now on the Southwest flight to Vegas? Like, I'm already on a flight to Vegas now. You're fucking barefoot in this motherfucker. There's no first class in here.
It's 30-minute flight.
Yeah, 30-minute flight. There's no first class in here. I'm stuck with you. I'm stuck with you, grubby motherfucker. You checked in 23 hours and 59 minutes. Boom. 1 minute in, you got your fucking, I'm in the first group to board. I'm A1. And I roll up to the airport. I'm fucking C37 on a Southwest flight. I don't give a shit. But yeah, look, she could be one of those people that might not want to be. I don't know. But I'm tired of people not giving a fuck about their hygiene and their self-worth anymore.
I would love for us to have a little bit more shame as a nation.
I would too.
I would too. Let's just talk about flights. Do you remember when people used to fucking dress up? Not that we were alive, but I'm saying, like,
right.
It was a thing.
I got a thing for you. I remember people smoked on a flight.
So you were
as
in a plane.
I was on a tiny child.
Never.
Yeah, tiny child. People were smoking on a plane. I was like, whoa.
Oh,
yeah, and I mean, up until maybe 5-6 years ago, there was still those little tiny ashtrays on the seat rest.
Oh yeah,
remember those?
Recently. Actually.
Yeah, where you're like,
actually,
oh shit,
on Southwest.
Boy. So it was a thing for a while. Like, looking back on it now, how the fuck did people smoke on planes?
Dude.
It's crazy.
I wasn't alive when you were allowed, but I was on a flight with my grandpa one time, and he smoked in the bathroom, and there were policemen waiting for him.
I'm sure. I'm sure that's a big deal these days.
So technically, I've been on a plane where people smoke too, but I think it's already a fart tube. Can you imagine the also the smoke?
No, I can't. Look, plane is nothing but a fart tube, filled with smoke on top of it.
Yeah.
boy, I can't
That's like a
imagine it.
nightmare.
No, and yeah, boy. And the clothing back then was super. You ever go to the thrift store?
Yep.
Pick up some old shit, and you're like, oh man, this is vintage. This is dope. And you wear it out. You're about 3 hours into your evening. Pit starts sweating a little bit. There is a rare stink that comes out from those clothes that you're like, Jesus Christ. Was everybody smelling like that back then?
It's like a polyester.
Don't have an
blend,
answer.
or-
Don't have an
Yeah,
answer.
Yeah.
I
think it is.
only
Does
have
not
guesses.
Breathe. Does not breathe.
Yeah,
well.
again, we've talked about this before. I'm not a soothsayer, Jabes, so
Yeah.
don't expect me to do
Alright.
you a solid by trying to predict your future, okay? Let's get to some sponsors, shall we? First up, we got StrikeForceEnergy.com.
One of the faves.
Yeah, god damn it, I love Strike Force Energy. A lot of people ask me, Ross, how are you so fucking amped up all goddamn day long like this? How do you have so much energy? It's not because I'm 26. I'm a couple summers older. That's about it. But it's because I use StrikeForceEnergy.com. It is the tastiest, tiniest little tin pouch full of energy that you rip the pouch. It goes in every single liquid you could possibly imagine. It goes in Kool-Aid. It goes in water. It goes in sodas.
Goes
teas,
in wine,
liquors, beers. I love it in fucking Miller Lite. It goes in anything you could possibly imagine, and it'll keep you going past the 5 hours. That 5 hour energy shit tastes like garbage. It tastes like drinking hot fucking garbage that's been sitting in the middle of Baltimore on a 4th of July day. Strike Force Energy doesn't taste like that. You got to kick the can. That's the slogan, kids. Kick the can. They ship everywhere in the entire world. You get 20% off by entering the promo code REVOLUTION. That's 20% off for using the promo code REVOLUTION. They ship anywhere in the entire world. They have a subscription to the month club, which I have, obviously, and I love. And last but not least, they got a bottle that pumps out 100 squirts of that shit. You can just put it right on your bar. Right on your barkeep.
And we do.
Yeah. Big fan of StrikeForceEnergy.com. Next up, man. I've been waiting to say his name for a long time. Notice how I said it in a St. James Street James voice?
I did.
Because I've been waiting to say his name for a long time.
Okay.
I'm talking about none other than one of the stars of Helen Keller versus Nightwolves. I'm talking about Van Sant Law. It's time to drop the hammer of justice. Big fan of Van Sant Law. He's arguably the finest personal injury lawyer in the entire United States of America. The guy's the best at what he does, best in the biz, one of the finest lawyers we have, and a fucking upstanding citizen. If you've been in a personal injury or a car accident, if you got a personal injury at work, you're looking for workman's comp, you've been in a car accident, any type of wrongful death, Van Sant Law is the guy you need to call. Call 1-855-GA-INJURY. Yeah, that's 1-855-GA-INJURY. INJURY. Another number that you can throw out there is 404-991-5950. That's 404-991-5950. Look, kids, if you've been hurt on the job, if your boss is treating you like shit, you don't like what's going on in the workplace, you're hurt, you got carpal tunnel, somebody's slapping you around, sexually assaulting you, or you've been in some type of car accident, Van Sant Law, look, him and his personal injury lawyers, they'll take care of you. They'll hook your shit up. And look, just a few recent results. They got a $3.25 million case, trip and fall. Boom, $3.25 million. Truck accident, $3 million. Medical negligence, $2.5 million. $2.3 million semi-truck accident. $2.3 million neck injury. $1.6 million wrongful death suit. These guys do not fuck around. They are the Johnny Cochran. David Van Sant is the Johnny Cochran of personal injury lawyers. Huge fan. He's worked with my family and some of my friends for years. Love him. 1-855-GA-INJURY. That is the number to call. Figure it the fuck out, kids, and get on the Van Sant Law train. Next up, oh, Billy. Oh, Billy. You fucking know with absolute certainty how much I love Carnivore Club.
I mean,
CarnivoreClub.com is my fucking jam.
Hell yeah.
Kids, what it is it's a meats in it's a meats in a box of the month club. It's the finest meats delivered to you in a box once a month, right to your doorstep, rain or shine, or hurricane. I'll add to that.
Hurricane or shine.
It made it through Hurricane
That's
Matthew
true.
to me. Everything in the world shut down in Wilmington, including the grocery stores, by the way. And that is no lie. They shut down the fucking grocery stores. And
Carnivore Club.
they put the metal,
Boom.
they put those metal,
Oh yeah.
I don't want to call them
Those
fences.
barricades,
Yeah, there's
yeah.
barricades over the doors of the grocery store. Like people
Yeah.
are going to start fucking rioting. It's like we live in Wilmington. Nobody's rioting over anything. But there was a slam against my door. And what is it? I open up the door. There's a box of Carnivore Club.
Holy shit.
Yeah. And it was delivered on a Saturday by the USPS, man, the United States Postal. Yeah. And I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God. I had no power on, no nothing. I'm with my 2-year-old son.
But you just opened up that cured meat.
And we went to town.
Yeah.
What it is, in all honesty, it is the finest cured meats from all over the world. They look for these fucking meats, and then they buy them, and then they put them up in this box, and the box is like super nice. Where you're just like, oh shit, like you feel bad like throwing it away. Like
I've been keeping them.
I know they're nice. They're nice boxes. And it's spicy predatable pork. They've got salami,
truffle salami.
Oh
like,
shit, yeah.
All different kinds. Cajun.
Yeah.
They start to, I'm sure, tailor it towards you, but I mean,
the best. It's one of the best. If you
brick
don't know
of
what to get for a bro or
Yeah.
like another dude, you got to go to carnivoreclub.co. That's carnivoreclub.co. They're a co. They're a .co. Type in the promo code REVOLUTION. You get 20% off your first order. Your first order, you get 20% off. Big fan. It is a meat of the month club. Next up, we've got arguably my favorite beer in the entire world. I'm talking about Wilmington Brew Company.
What?
Yeah, Wilmington Brew Company.
Love them.
Local fave. Wilmington Brew Company makes I'm just going to say it's the finest beer in the United States. It is. I've literally had beer every single place in the United States. Wilmington Brew Company is my fucking jam. It's my fucking jam.
Every time we have someone come from wherever in the U.S. or the world, they're like, we take them there.
We always take them to Wilmington Brew Company.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is the real deal.
Yeah. Wilmington Brewery is the shit. Look, right now, they're strictly North Carolina based, but that is changing rapidly. They started off with a small store. They got bigger, got a little bigger shop. Now they are on tap at, I want to say 187 restaurants in Wilmington. 80 in Wilmington, 187 in the rest of the state of North Carolina. They're almost, they're in almost every single restaurant now in North Carolina. Ask for Wilmington, the Wilmington Brew Company. Tell them you want that Wilmington Brewery in your fucking mouth. I recommend Tropical Lightning. Recommend the Raspberry Saison. And this Sneaky Goose is a fucking
You gotta
fave.
do the Sneaky
It's a fave.
Goose, dude.
It's a fave. And if you come to Wilmington, North Carolina, stop in, tell them Ross Patterson sent you, and enjoy it, folks. It's as good as it gets. Last but not least, we've got the finest piece of literature ever written in the United States. I'm talking better than the Constitution. I'm talking better than the Bill of Rights. I'm talking better than the Magna Carta. I'm talking about At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed, the first ever romance novel for dudes. Jables, can I get a horse noise? Yeah, there we go.
Yep, best in the biz.
At Night She Cries While He Rides His Steed, first ever romance novel for dudes, written by the genius, the man among men, Ross Patterson. It's available in bookstores everywhere. Amazon.com, Walmart.com, every .com you can imagine, Barnes & Noble, the whole shit. Funniest book you'll ever read. If you love my films, kids, you'll love the book even more because they let me go wilder. if that's even possible. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. You don't need an air conditioner in here because I'm a huge fan. I saw a tender vid today, a touching video, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
This video that I saw on the YouTubes was Denzel Washington. Actually, he was talking about acting. You know, the Oscars and all that shit.
Yeah.
Just happened, and it was a nice like throwback video of him talking about acting and what it's like, and it was a roundtable of the who's who.
Okay.
I believe the Hollywood Reporter did the video, and you know it was some of the bigger titans in the industry, if you will, and you know they get to him and they talk about acting and filmmaking and all that shit, and he was just like, look, it's cool, like everything, like it's fine, but let's not pretend like we're that super important. Like,
oh yes,
there's people, you know, kids fighting for our freedom and all that shit, getting shot in the face. He goes, we're just making a fucking movie at the end of the day. So let's not jump on. And there was, from everybody around the table, there was a twinge of like, ooh, and everybody like this realization of like, oh, he's right. And we were about to say something super pompous, and then Denzel Washington went first and just kind of shut that down.
But people behind the curtain, and they did not want.
Yeah,
they did not want that.
I just, it's like you're not a special flower because you make a movie. I made a lot of movies in my life. Do I love them? Yes, you bet. At any point, did I think that I was in danger? It was a hard job that I could lose my life over. Only once. Wrestled a live alligator on a tour bus in a movie called Darnell Dawkins' Mouth Guitar Legend. I thought I could. I thought that's the only time I thought I could have lost my life, potentially.
Let's be fair though, that was your choice because you wrote.
It was. It was. But
so that was your choice.
Well, it was and it wasn't. I'll give you a quick backstory on this. I produced the film as well, so I had to fucking hire this alligator, and so I called around. There was only a couple animal farms in Los Angeles. And there was one guy who was like, yeah, we got gators. You need a gator? And he would only call it a gator. He wouldn't call it an alligator. And I was
right.
I'm trying to be professional about it. I'm like, oh, look, I need to rent your alligator. What's the day rate for the alligator, whatever? And he goes, well, that gator, oh boy, you're gonna need at least 2 handlers, a driver to drive it down from wherever the bumblefuck he was from.
Right.
And he goes, and then food and thing. I was like, well, I'll give you per diem. You know, you can buy whatever food you want. He goes, no, food for the gator. And I was like, oh, okay. And so he gives me the quote. It's crazy high. Like it was too much for this movie. And I was like, but I wanted this shot. I wanted this alligator in the movie. It was a really funny part of the film. So I said, look, how do I cut down on cost? And he goes, well, you could come up to my place. What are you doing with the gator? And I was like, it's a scene where I'm kind of wrestling it on a tour bus. It plays one of my best friends in life, this alligator. And he goes, okay, so are you going to put this gator on the bus? And I was like, yeah, I mean, the gator's going to be on the bus. I was like, can the gator go on the bus? Like, is that one of those things where you can't drag it up the stairs, or, it won't walk down like a horse or something? Like it won't walk backwards? God. And he's like, no, man. Why the fuck would you say that? And I was like, I don't know. You know, reason. Like, you seemed like it was a big deal that I was going to have a fucking alligator on the bus. And he's like, man, this alligator has starred in a lot of films, a lot of fucking. I was like, oh, so I'm sorry. I was unaware the alligator was famous. And he goes, you ever seen those Vaseline commercials? The alligator? And I go, yeah.
Oh my
and
God.
He goes, that's the gator. And I was like, oh, all right, fuck. Let's party. So he cuts his quote and he says, look, you can come up here, shoot him a ranch, bring the tour bus up here, which we did, gassed up this tour bus, went up to this guy's ranch in the mountains. Turns out when we get there, greeted by 3 thunderous lions. Whatever a sound a lion makes. I think that what I made is pretty exact. I'd say it's recording quality. Those of you at home who want to license that lion noise royalty free, I'm not going to charge you. I'm not going to call anybody. I'm not going to call ASCAP or anything. He had lions, bears. Oh my. Alligators, deer. He had everything. He had the bear from what was the movie Will Ferrell? He was playing the basketball player.
Oh.
Yep. Who had the bear ended up killing people. And ended up killing somebody, and I think they had to put the bear down. Bear killed somebody on another movie. So he had that bear. He was the animal guy, and so there was only like two of these guys who were doing animal shit, right? So I get there, I get on the bus, and I'm prepping for the scene or whatever. There's another actor in the scene with me, a guy named Michael Raymond James, fantastic actor. Was in Once Upon a Time, True Blood, that Jack Reacher movie, ton of shit. Oh, he was in that History Channel thing. He was Paul Revere.
Oh yes, Mikey.
Yeah. So, anyways, he was in the film, and we get on the bus. They place the alligator down, and it's on this leash that, no lie, is the leash for a dog, like a tiny dog,
just like a nylon.
Yeah, like a barely but through a rope slit, so there was no like clip on it or whatever, and there was a dude holding the thing, and the alligator had duct tape around his eyes. And I was like, what's the duct tape for? I was like, we got to take the duct tape off because we got to see the alligator and the eyes and the scene and all that stuff. And he goes, oh, we'll take off the tape when you're ready, when the alligator's ready.
Oh, God.
There was duct tape on the eyes, and then they had duct tape around the beak of it. And the snout.
The beak,
Did you call it a snout?
Mouth.
Yeah, snout of the alligator.
Yeah.
So he takes the fucking tape off when we start filming. Mike is behind me. A couple other extras in the scene behind me, and I'm holding this raw chicken in front of the face of the alligator, and it's supposed to be my best friend. So I'm into it. I can't look scared,
right?
And so everybody else can though. So, anyways, we yell action. I got the chicken up, and the alligator opens wide, and it is the loudest hissing noise, like an alligator hissing. It's like a hiss noise they make. It is fucking frightening. It is downright fucking frightening. Like you were thrown back into the dinosaur age where you're like, oh shit. I bet you that is exactly what it was like when like a T-Rex opened its mouth.
Yeah.
And I was just like, and it is no lie, probably 18 to 24 inches in front of my face. And then on the other side of it, which you can't see, is this guy holding it back with a leash. He's not even looking at the alligator. He's looking out the window, bored as shit. And I'm just like, no bigs. Another day at the JOB for that guy.
Oh my God.
We get one takedown. Mikey's like, cool, I'm out of here.
See ya.
Good. We good? It's
Yeah.
one take. Timmy, it's all we need. I'm good.
Yeah.
Ran out of the fucking bus. And I'm stuck because I'm on the floor with this alligator at this point. We had to get a couple shots of him facing me feeding him, and then me wrestling him and pulling him by the tail and shit like that. So when we turn around, start wrestling the alligator, they were like, just give it a little tug on the tail. Now, if he whips his snout around, I'd jump up if I were you. Sure enough, we start the scene, start pulling on the alligator, fine cuts, boom. This fucker flips around and just faces me, and I was just like, oh my God, I powerless to do anything. Almost lost my life that day.
Oh my God.
Was that a long story? Yes. Was it a special story? You betcha.
Yeah. Was it a little insight into what you would go through?
Yeah, on a production. That's what I did. Yeah. And so today, there was a buck naked man in that scene as well. He ironically was unafraid, although his dick and balls look like a piece of chicken.
Piece of chicken just hanging out there.
Because he was shaved. He's fully shaved man. No pubes.
Huh.
No pubes.
Interesting that he would be a shaved man. I know Chip, so.
No, I mean, and I'm talking not just the pube. Like he shaves every last inch of his person is shaved.
Now listen, since you're dishing, sounds like you're a little bit, we're going into the dirt.
I'll talk about whatever. I don't give a fuck.
You don't care. You'll name names, right?
Yes. Yeah, you can ask me whatever you want about Hollywood. I don't
No
care.
one will, which is
retarded.
They'll just be like, I don't want to say who it is, but
well,
why
I will.
not? Why not?
I will say this though. Like,
are you afraid that like they won't hire? I don't know.
No. I don't give a fuck.
Like,
everybody
you don't
else
give a
is
fuck.
though. But I also own my own production company. I make my own movies. I haven't auditioned for anybody else's shit, and I don't know.
So you're at the
years.
point where you can name names.
Yeah, I don't care.
All right. So who is a dick? Who was a dick to you?
One of my first dickish moments in Hollywood, where I was like, "Oh my god, welcome to Hollywood," was Jennifer Lopez's manager.
What?
Yeah, I worked when I got to Los Angeles, Staples Center had just opened up where the Lakers play. They were replacing the Forum in there, and so I was a waiter for the luxury boxes. I was trying to get an agent. I had sent out, when I originally got to Hollywood, I had sent out like fucking 300 headshots and resumes, like twice a week.
Those days?
Twice a week, every week, nothing. So then I was like, fuck, get a job at Staples. Like, dude, there'll be a bunch of agents and managers there. Like, I'll get to fucking shine. So I was a waiter for the luxury boxes. Met an agency there, one of the biggest ones in Hollywood, ICM. One of the agents was like, hey, we do private, but like, he's like, you're a really, really funny fucking dude. You'd be cool to work these parties. Like, it's just serving drinks and food. And he was like, it's private and you'll have to sign like an NDA that you can't talk about anything here.
Okay.
Which I did. And
no, are they going to sue you?
No, because he passed away.
Okay.
Passed away. So that
got you.
I'm in the clear now. So now I don't give, and I've told these stories privately, but I don't give a fuck. So one night, the gig was this. They had a screening of, this agent was super cool, old guy, super old school. And the deal was you screened, every Friday night he was screening of one of his clients' movies, their new movies.
Okay.
So he'd invite the client over, super old school shit. I fucking loved it. It was a blast.
Yeah.
Super old school shit. Would have the client over, their managers, if they had managers, their loved ones, and their family. So the parties were usually between 12 and 15, no more than that. He had a private movie theater in his house with a projectionist. So the projectionist would would drive the movie over from the studio, still in the tin, put on the projection, play the movie in this private movie theater in the house. Fucking rad. So one of the very first parties I worked was for Jennifer Lopez. I forget which movie it was. I'm not a Jennifer Lopez fan. Although
none of her movies, no.
Surprisingly, she was pleasant that night, but her manager was just a cunt. Anyways, so they had come up and they were like, "Hey, I've got this wine or whatever. It's for Jennifer. It's for fucking Jennifer. Don't let anybody else drink this. It's just for Jennifer." And it was like one of those, like, I want her to know that it came from me, and this is just for Jennifer. And you're like, fuck, man. It's like one of those people that, it's like going to somebody's house, bring a bottle of wine over to their house, you end up drinking the whole bottle of wine and they don't get any. You're like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
What
the fuck's wrong with you?
Yeah.
So, I open up this wine. I'm like, oh, okay, it's for fucking Jennifer. I open up this wine and I go to pour a glass, grabs my fucking hand. Do not pour the fucking wine. Don't pour the fucking wine. Do you understand how much this bottle of wine is? And I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, what do you mean you don't understand how much this bottle of wine is? And I was like, motherfucker, I'm a bartender. I was like, if I knew how expensive bottles of wine were and I was drinking bottles of wine like this on the reg, do you think I'd be a fucking bartender at a party tonight for a movie? No, I wouldn't. I don't know what the fuck this is.
So were you just pouring Jennifer's wine for just a rando?
No, for Jennifer. I was pouring it for Jennifer.
Okay. Then what the fuck's the problem?
Here's the problem. I didn't let it breathe. Didn't let the wine breathe, Japes. That was my first mistake. Did not let this wine breathe for 20 minutes. I'm going to take it a step further. He set a clock. Went ahead and started the ticker for the 20 minutes.
For it to breathe?
Yeah, for it to breathe. So I was like, all right, cool. Come back 20 minutes later. Great. Pour this glass of wine, take it over to Jennifer, tell her it's from me, and that I'm the one who brought the wine over.
I did my job.
Exactly.
Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And I'm a special person.
I'm a flower.
Took it over to her. She was like, oh, okay, great. Thank you so much. Whatever. Didn't drink it. Didn't drink it the whole night. She's not a big partier. So didn't drink the wine. There was another guy working with me, kind of like my like a bus boy for me, like cleaned up the shit or whatever.
Yeah.
And so when they turned the corner, when this fucker turned the corner, I grabbed the bottle of wine and straight into my mouth.
Of course,
I took a good quarter out of that wine on fucking solid pull. It was my way of saying fuck you.
Sure.
The other thing about it was I'd never had wine that expensive. Wanted to try it, you know?
Yeah. And what did you think?
Worth every penny.
Really?
No,
dude.
No, it was good. It was really good wine. And you're like, oh shit. Wine's different than champagne, where it's like, you know, you buy an expensive bottle of champagne, it tastes like shit to me. I like the real cheap champagne, like fucking, you know, the sweet stuff.
Good to know. Good
the
to know.
$7.99.
Yeah.
Things like that. But yeah, I worked a lot of fucking. So I mean, I got to be up close with like the biggest celebrities on the planet. I would say probably 6 to 8 months since I'd moved to Los Angeles. So I got to know a lot of them, like the biggest people in the business, where you were just like McConaughey. He was fucking rad.
He was rad.
Awesome.
And
every single
who
time.
Who else was like, shit. Like,
and I kind of got to know him a little bit. You know, we weren't like bros where we called each other, but every time I would see him out, because there was a point where, you know, I got my first lead in a studio movie. It wasn't bartending anymore. And he was just like, man, you were always fucking cool, man. You know? And I was just like, all right, awesome. So, there was a time where, talking about a cool guy McConaughey story, like, there was a time there was an Oscar party, and he was like, hey, let's go down to the bar, man. Let's go get some ladies. You know,
Stop.
He was single, you know, not married. This was years ago. You know, I was single or whatever, and I was just like, and it was with his manager. And I was like, hey, I go, here's what's going to happen. We're going to walk down to this bar, and they're literally like, I'll be invisible. I'll be the fucking invisible man in that room. He's
right.
like, no, man. I'll take care of everything. It's been cool, man. Man, you're Ross, man. I'll take care of you. You know, I was like, sure. So we go down to this bar. No lie. I literally got shoved. Do you know that supermodel Helena Christensen? She was in that video. No, I wanna hold it.
Oh yeah.
So literally, girls start running like it's a fucking Black Friday sale when McConaughey walked down to this bar. Never seen anything like it to this day. She fucking shoves me with the force of a Heisman winner, like a Bo Jackson Heisman. I mean, in my chest where I was like, oh, like I lost my breath for a second. I was like, oh. He was, just sworn by girls. So it's me and his manager who got shoved out of the way. Nobody knows who the fuck I am yet. I don't have a movie out, nothing.
Right.
And so I look over and I was like, yeah, hey, what about going to the bar with, you gonna take care of your boy Ross and all the whole shit? He's like, oh man, I'm sorry, man. Sorry. You know? And I was just like, he was always just cool.
Shit.
He's as cool as you would hope he would be.
Right.
Another one, by the way, was Denzel, actually.
That was cool.
Yeah, that fucking video I saw was not like, I got to spend like I'll put it this way. I spent 3 hours alone with Denzel Washington one night at that house.
That you were bartending?
Yeah. And it was an awesome, probably one of my greatest Hollywood stories of all time.
That you were working this party and...
Yep.
Okay.
It was, so it was for the Hurricane. Movie The Hurricane had just come out.
Oh, yeah.
And he was great in it.
Yeah.
So anyways, my job after, people were having hors d'oeuvres and then there were drinks and then I would walk everybody up to this movie theater because it was around the back of the house. I would seat everybody. There was a full popcorn. Fresh popcorn was being cooked. Candy, like everything inside of a real movie theater was in here. So I brought everybody candy, popcorn, made one last drink before the movie started, turned the lights down. And then the agent was always like, hey, after you finish cleaning up in the other room, just come watch the movie and hang out. And I was like, dude, dope. This is fucking amazing.
Amazing.
So I go back down and at this point I'd seen a few movies. I go back down and I start cleaning up. Denzel Washington's downstairs still by the bar and he's playing pool by himself. And I'm kind of cleaning up or whatever. And I was like, Mr. Washington, I was like, do you want to, the movie's about to start. Do you want me to hold it or go tell him to hold it or whatever? And he's like, no, let him watch the movie. And I was like, okay. And I was like, why? You don't want to see it? I was like, have you not seen it? And he goes, I never watch my own movies.
Love it.
I never watch my own movies. I was like, oh shit. And then he just looks at me and he goes, you play pool? And I was like, yeah, I play pool. I'm not a great pool player, but I play pool. And he goes, $600 a game. And I was like, what? And like, at this point, I don't know if he's serious or not.
Right.
And I was just like, $600. I was like, are you fucking serious? And he was like, yeah, $600 a game. Let's play for $600 a game. And I was like, yo, again, do you think I would be working here if I could afford to play for $600 a game? And he just starts dying laughing. He's like, I'm kidding. He goes, gentleman's bet, okay. And I was like, yeah. So that night, I got to literally ask him every single acting question because Hurricane's a long movie, about 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Did he seem cool with it, or was it
great,
like
buddy? Great, because it was just the two of us.
So he was into like talking about it.
Yeah. And so, because I wasn't evasive. I wasn't like fanning out or
just
or whatever. And I just said, hey, I'm out here trying to do this. And, and I just finished NYU. And he was just like, I trained in New York. And so we had that in common, talking about New York and talking about his life, like acting from way back. Like he did plays on Broadway and like, I mean, he's old school, like a real actor and all of that shit. And I literally got to ask him like it was like inside the actor studio for just me. I got to ask him any question I wanted. I even asked him questions about his movies. I'm not going to give his secrets away because I'll let that be with him because I don't want to ruin that.
Yeah, because he was cool. That's not like naming names. That's like letting
and like there's tricks of the trade where you don't want to spoil it for the audience. And like, he taught me some shit that I was like, oh, fuck. And I ended up using later on, stole it from him. And, and he was just fucking rad about it. But I'll never forget that night. For 2 hours and 45 minutes, the length of Hurricane, me and Denzel Washington playing pool together. And you know who was there? Mel Gibson was there that night.
What was his fucking sitch?
He was a fan of Denzel. They had the same agent and wanted to see the movie. So he came over to the house. And, dude, I got to say, Mel Gibson, weird guy, kind of quirky, he kind of had tics where it was, he was just pounding drinks. Like a straight Scotch guy and just chain smoking cigarettes all night.
Yeah.
But he was a nice guy. Right. And, when that racist shit came out about him, I was surprised because I was like, man, I didn't see any of that. Like, dude, he was a fan of Denzel, like was asking him shit, like he was proud of him. And I mean, it was cool to see where you were just like, oh shit, there's another like huge actor supporting another huge actor. And to my knowledge, they had never worked together before. So he was just a fan coming to see another fan. And I was just like, oh shit. But I did ask Denzel this. I was like, whoa. I was like, there had to have been some movie you watched, like somewhere along the line, Because he also said, he's like, I don't watch movies.
Oh, you're saying one of his that he had to have seen?
No. So after his, somebody else's, like, hey, what's the last movie you've seen?
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he was like, I was on a cruise with my wife in Italy, and I watched this movie inside the ship. It was all in Italian. I was like,
oh my God.
That's it? And he goes, yeah, that's it. He goes, it was beautiful. It's a beautiful movie. And I was like, fuck. All right, cool. Like,
well, that kind of sounds like the dream encounter to me. Like I was gonna ask, like, what is your dream?
Oh, well, I've had shitty, like horrible people too, where you're just like, one of my first horrible celebrities to my face was Arliss. You remember Arliss, the guy who played Arliss?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why do I know that?
Oh God, it was an HBO show where he played.
Why do I know? I don't want to know that. I know.
Yeah. My very first gig in LA was I was a waiter for the Emmys, their after party. So the governor's ball, the governor's ball afterwards. I was a waiter for that, and I had a bunch. I had like 8 tables, and it was like 15 people a piece. It's exactly like you see on TV. But they didn't. For some reason, they don't hire enough waiters for that shit. So like,
never.
I was working like eight tables, and Wolfgang Puck was cooking. He had made the food back in the kitchen, and so like he fucking bring the plates out like this, and fucking hold them like this, and do the whole shit like this, and blah blah blah, and they also told us to serve people in order of most important, like who we thought was most important.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. So like I had the friends table was one of mine.
All right.
And I had like Friends was,
they're all the most important still. Yeah.
And that was like 2000, the height of their show. Like, and they were just super fucking famous. All of them were pretty fucking cool. And they were just kind of like, let's peace out of here and go to like a fucking cool party. We just be real people. So anyways, I was walking around serving people, and there was a gap, and Arliss had took this plates, and I was like, hey, I think it was for somebody at HBO, somebody else at HBO, like the president of HBO.
Right.
And I was like, hey, that's for so and so or whatever. And I picked the plate up and I tried to put it back down. He grabs my fucking arm and he goes, I want that piece of meat. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, let me ask. And he was like, no, I'm taking the fucking meat. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I was like, easy, Arliss, easy. To his face, the whole shit. I think his name is Robert Wool, or was his real name. And he fucking lost his shit. And was trying to look for a manager. There's no manager. It's fucking utter chaos there at the Emmys. And I was like, good luck finding him. I saw this man take down that entire fucking filet mignon in 3 bites. He just cut it into thirds and just stuffed it in his mouth. I was just like, And you were just like, oh boy, what the fuck? Another one who was cool that night, though. You remember Courtney Thorne-Smith? She was a blonde girl, a blonde woman. She was been on TV forever. She was on Melrose Place. She was on Family Ties. She was Alex P. Keaton's girlfriend.
Yes.
She was in Summer School. You ever seen that movie Summer School with Mark Harmon?
Yes.
Great fucking movie.
Yes.
Old school 80s
Courtney
movie.
Thorne-Smith. Yeah.
So she was like super cool, like kind of reminded me of like a surfer chick or something. It was her and her husband.
Robert Wool.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Robert fucking Wool.
I just want to name his name.
That's
because
fine. I named it. I got it right.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Courtney Thorne-Smith. So that was a cool one because she was like, hey, she goes, hey man, what's the deal with it? What's the deal with these plates of food? And I was like, what do you mean? You're gonna have as many as you want? She goes, but can I take them out of here? And I was like, oh. I was like, do you want to take the whole plates out of here? She goes, yes, but I can't take the plates out of here. But she goes, you can. Like, because people are, paparazzi's going to snap her fucking going back to her thing with full plates and silverware. I mean, I'm talking the plates inside the fucking governor's ball. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. So she was like, look, she was like, all our booze is out in the car. We want to go to another party. Like, I just don't feel like being here with these fucking people. And I was like, oh, all right, awesome.
Wow.
So there was a back door for employees. And I was like, yeah. I was like, just show me which limo is yours, like wave or something or stand by it. And she was like, all right, cool. So I go out, I grab a couple plates for her and her husband and silverware. Like the actual plates, not like a paper plate or anything.
Yeah.
And she's hanging out of the roof of the limousine. And she's waving. She's like, hey, I'm over here. I was like, all right, cool. So I put 2 plates in through the fucking roof. She gave me money, tipped me, and then just drove off. And took the full plates it was filet mignon with like, the whole béarnaise and the fucking, I mean, it was a slidable plate. Like when the food slides, you're like, oh shit. That's
Isn't that funny? I used to bartend too, and like the weird stuff that people like that would ask you for. And you're like, I'm just gonna do it. Like you have more allegiance almost to them than your boss. You'd get fired for like to do stuff that. Like I would be like, even if my boss found out, like I'm giving food to Courtney Thorne-Smith. And I'm gonna do it. Like I would never be like, no, I can't. Like, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna do it.
So also that night, there was a bunch of cool shit that night. I remember right after the show ended, Dennis Miller and Jay Moore walked in, and they were already drinking. Yeah. And there was a band playing like an old like symphony, like of older people, and Dennis Miller just screams out, "Why don't you play some fucking Freebird?" And it was super funny.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, awesome. I was a huge Dennis Miller fan at the time, big fan of him on SNL, and then all of a sudden everybody turns. Like I see everybody stop and just turn. And I was like, whoa, what the fuck? Even the band kind of looked over, like in the corner of this room, like the entrance was. Halle Locklear walked in.
Oh.
Showstopper.
And it is really a showstopper.
Oh, at the time, 2000, whatever, prime. And you were just like, oh my God. And I think Dennis Miller just taps me on the arm and he goes, Jesus Christ. You ever seen a more fucking beautiful gal in your life? And I was like, no, I haven't.
1920s.
Yeah, and Jay Moore was like, it's almost like she's floating into the room right now.
Oh
and I was like,
God.
It was like these two just went off on a comedy routine.
Right.
I'm a fucking waiter, so I can't hop along in there as a threesome.
You knew your lane.
I knew my
lane.
Yeah. But I watched her walk and I was like, God damn. To this day, there's only one other person who stopped a room like that, celebrity-wise.
Oh, thank you.
Jesse Wiseman. Jesse Wiseman.
No.
There was one more. It was Gwen Stefani. I was at the Teen Choice Awards. One of my best friends was nominated for a Teen Choice Award. She walked in, and it just stopped the entire room. It was like, oh my, you couldn't look directly into her.
Yeah.
It was a. I don't know what she does or where she sleeps.
Just like a thing. It's just like an aura.
It's crazy.
I don't know what her
it
deal
is,
man.
It is. It's crazy. But then there was other nights where it was like I worked a party for Edward Norton. And he was dating. I did People versus Larry Flint.
Okay, so he was with Courtney.
Yes.
Love. Yeah.
Courtney Love, and they both came together, and they were dating.
Yeah.
And
famously, and like it was always like what?
Super weird. And he was really smart and intelligent.
Yeah. How did they look together? Was it like
No, I thought it was weird.
Mm.
I thought it was weird. Me personally.
Yeah.
Because she was still Courtney Love, like loud, fucking bah. And dude, Salma Hayek was there too, which they ended up dating, and like they got in a fight that night. Like she said, Courtney Love said that he was looking at Salma Hayek, some other shit, and like it was crazy. All three of them had the same agency.
Yeah.
So it was, you connected the dots, and you were like, oh fuck. But yeah, it was. She was fucking out to lunch.
I feel like anytime that there's a big group of celebrities, actors and that kind of world, it's gonna be weird, and there's gonna be weirdness because it's just the world, right?
Yeah. By the way, most fucked up person I've seen, I got to meet was Whitney Houston.
Fucked up?
Yeah, like drugged out of her mind.
Yeah.
Eyes gone.
Mm-hmm.
Doorbell, like
I've heard that.
I'm cleaning up. I was cleaning up for the night, and I would say I usually got out of there around 1:30 in the morning too, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
And depending upon who wanted to stay and chat and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And doorbell rings. It's Whitney Houston, and I was like, oh fuck, like, and she's with glass eyes.
Oh yeah,
gone. She was like, oh, hi, honey. Is so and so here? And I was like, yeah, I'll get him. Get him. Get the person, whatever. And she whoever she was meeting, she was grabbing drugs, and then she bounced. So she grabbed drugs and then bounced, and that was it. But there was some crazy people.
Can I ask you? Is there anyone that you haven't met that you always were like, I want to meet them, or a dream, like open invitation to the show, like I just want to talk to you?
No, not. I would say
there's no one.
There's two left. There's two left on my list: Mick Jagger and man. At this point, I met Keith Richards.
Okay,
I'd have to say, and he was fucking awesome.
Yeah,
he's exactly like you hoped. I met him at a Golden Globes thing, in 2002. I was doing press, right? It was right before the new guy came out, and like 9/11 had happened and all that shit. So security was super fucking tight, like really, really fucking tight. And we had to go in groups, and they split it up into last names. So it was P through R, and you had to go in groups of 8. And the time I was with my agent, and the time that we had arrived was the exact time as them. So it was me. And they put 8 of us in an elevator. It was me, Keith Richards, and Joe Perry from fucking Aerosmith.
Dang.
Yeah. And so Rolling Stones are my all-time favorite band. I knew this might be my only shot to ever meet Keith Richards. And also, like, I had a movie coming out where I was a lead-in, and I felt like, all right, I belong here.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was dressed to the nines. Like, it was cool, And I was just like, the elevator starts going up, and I was like, hey, man, I just want to tell you, like, you guys are the fucking greatest rock and roll band of all time. And I didn't give a shit saying that in front of Joe Perry either. Joe Perry kind of gave a look like,
I mean, of course.
I'm sure he's heard it all the time.
Yeah.
And so Keith Richards just looks at me, punches me right in the fucking shoulder.
Oh.
And he goes, "We are one hell of a band, aren't we?" And right as he said, I was like, "Yeah." The elevator doors open. Elevator doors open. There's all these people into this after party for the Golden Globes. And he just looks at everybody and goes, "To the bar." And I was like, "Oh my God." I called every friend that I had back home, college, everything. I was like, I don't fucking believe that was Keith Richards. My agent's like, "Hey, you want to get off the fucking phone? Because you've been talking on the phone for like an hour to all your buddies saying you met Keith Richards." Like,
but they know.
Yeah. That was what. So I would say it's down to in my life. I would say it's just down to Mick Jagger.
Out of everybody,
yeah, I would have said
you can meet that you could sit.
Well, the others are dead. The others are dead now. So I would have said Prince and Bowie.
Wow.
And that would have been the list. Actor wise, met them all. I can't really think of anybody. Dead serious. I can't really think of too many people that I haven't gotten to meet. Like, I mean, I met Tom Cruise. Like, fuck, I got to I talked to Tom Cruise. I got to shake his hand, talk to him, like, and he was the dopest motherfucker on the planet. Like, he's the coolest guy there is. He's got this power over you. Whatever, I don't know, whatever the fuck they're teaching him in that Scientology thing. Like, when he talks to you, it's like he's known you for 30 years. And he's having a deep, emotional, connected conversation with you. Yeah. And he doesn't know you. And it's incredible.
I've heard it's like you're the only person in the room. He's so emotionally present and it's like this. It's crazy.
Yeah, but like
that's what I've heard.
Yeah, because like even like the weird people that like you wouldn't think of, like oh, Ross probably didn't meet Angelina Jolie and Billy Bob Thornton. I have. I met them once at a screening at the DGA of a movie, and that's when they were wearing the blood vials around each other.
Yeah,
and there was back behind the DGA, there was a place for like limos and like private cars and shit like that. And they were just making out like with the windows down in this fucking limo. Just like, I mean, it was really what it was, what you saw in the tabloids. Right. And you were like, oh, fuck.
Just annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, at one point or another, I feel at least the people I've wanted to meet, you know, I would say at one point or another, I have, and not that you know, is a fucking great thing. Because sometimes you meet these people and you're just like, fuck it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't like that person. I don't like this person.
Yeah.
And, you know, at this point, I've done 25 movies, 26, somewhere in there. Like, I've worked with a lot of people, too. Usually the people that they say are fucking difficult or a nightmare aren't. It's usually the people you're not expecting who are. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, fuck.
When people say that people are being difficult, I kind of always go back to Mike Myers, where he just wanted, he was had creative control and just wanted the things that he wanted. Like,
gangster.
I want this song in there.
Mike Myers.
And I'm going to walk away if I don't get it. And so that makes you a nightmare for standing up for creatively what you want.
Yeah. So Mike Myers was a big one for me personally.
Yeah.
Obviously, you know, always as a kid wanting to grow up and be on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
At NYU, every Friday they would bring in a celebrity to come and talk to your class. There was only like 20, 25 people in my class. Mm-hmm. And you got to sit there and you got to ask them anything you wanted to about acting. And it was private. So he comes in, sits down, and again, there's just 20 of us and there's no cameras or none of that shit. So like whatever is in that room and whatever he says is going to stay in that room. Mm-hmm. So he sits down and he goes, look, I could give you a spiel about my life and what I did and all this stuff, but he goes, it's not going to help you. Just ask me any fucking question you want, and I will answer you with 100% honesty about all this shit. And I was like, oh, man. So, I mean, I started firing away. I was just like, me out of anyone in the room. And everybody knew in my class that I was the funny one and this was my fucking thing. So, like, I mean, I literally just fired away. I was just like, what happened when you got to SNL? And he was just like, you know what? They didn't even give me a fucking office. They didn't even think I'd be there more than a year. The computers didn't exist when he was on the show. So it was me, a yellow notepad, and I used to write by the elevator. Mm-hmm. And he goes, wrote all my own shit, all my own sketches, did everything for myself. And he goes, I made those characters. I made those characters happen. Like, and if you want to do anything in this life, Write your own shit and make it happen yourself. That stuck with me for forever. That advice. And he goes, look, if you work hard enough, and you have talent, but he's like, it's more hard work than talent. You will be able to say fuck you to those people. Because when he got $20 million for I think it was the second Austin Powers movie, is what he said. He got $20 million, and he said there was somebody who didn't believe in him in the past and said he was shitty or whatever. And he was like, he goes, literally, I laughed all the way to the fucking bank over and over and over again. Like, and he went back and told this person, and like, but he was a great guy, but he was a fucking gangster. Like, made his own shit, made it happen himself, and he was awesome. He was really, really awesome.
Yeah.
Matt Damon was another one that was awesome.
I've heard he's really awesome.
Man, and you were just like, shit. Same thing though. Wrote his own stuff, made his own thing, made his own ticket. Like, was kind of, he was doing like little bit parts here and there. He told this story about some heroin movie he did where he was playing a soldier.
Saving Private Ryan.
No, that was it was another movie. He was a soldier who would come back from, I want to say it was like the Iraq, like I forget what it was. But anyways, he's hooked on heroin.
Yeah.
But Saving Private Ryan was a World War II movie, by the way. So he's hooked on heroin, and he had to lose a bunch of weight for this movie, and it fucked him up. And he said nobody saw the movie, and he goes, now I'm just stuck, like. And he goes, I thought this was going to be my breakout role. Everybody was going to see it. And he was just like, I got to write my own fucking ticket.
That was it.
Yeah. Ended up doing it. I want to say like Meg Ryan or Jodie Foster. Somebody was in that movie too, but long time ago. But yeah, I other than that, like, there's not a lot of, I don't think there's anybody else left. And there's nobody like I look up to now where I'm like, oh, fuck, I think that person's brilliant and I'd like to work with them or meet with them or talk with them or whatever. To this day, out of everybody I've, worked with or whatever, Barry Bostwick is still the greatest actor ever of all time.
Oh, yeah.
That guy, nobody will beat that guy. And I've worked with, 4 or 5 Oscar winners. And hands down, he smokes everybody. And no one would ever believe that in a million years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's
so there's no open invitation to anybody.
No.
Sorry, he's talked to everybody he wants to talk to.
Kind of no, but I mean it's one of those. Is there anybody for you?
Well, no, I mean Anthony Bourdain, but
he's not an actor. He's a food guy.
I just said, listen, I didn't say actor. I said, is there anybody?
Are you still over there trying to find that Matt Damon movie? Can't do it, can you?
No, I can't.
Sharp as a tack on that computer. Can't find it.
Can't find it.
So there's no other actor. There's not an actress or anything?
It used to be Claire Danes, but I feel like...
You looked up to somebody your own age?
What?
You looked up to somebody your own age?
I think she's... like maybe 2 years older.
But that's what I'm saying. You guys are relatively close in age, within 2 years. I've never looked up to anybody my own age before, ever. I can't wrap my mind around that. I can't wrap my mind around somebody having the same lifespan and then me looking up to them for
accomplishments that they've made in the same lifetime that you've had.
No, because if they had done that, it was by a special circumstance, Like take DiCaprio. He's a few years older than me.
Okay.
But he grew up as a child actor. I wasn't a child actor. So like all that experience and all that shit, like he was way ahead of the game, But there's nobody around my age where I was just like, oh shit, I look up to that person. It's just simply for the fact of life. It was always older people for me where I looked up to them because I was like, oh shit. I think because it was a full story and you could go back and check their history. Where it was like, oh, okay, you've had this long career.
Yeah.
Now you're able to look back on it, reflect, and then go back and say why this happened. What were my fails? What were my wins? What were my things? And then I like that. I don't think I could learn too much from somebody my own age to be frank about it.
Okay.
It's probably a weird thing, but
but it's okay.
Yeah, strange like that.
You're pretty confident, man.
No. I just mean, if I'm doing something or whatever it is, I don't like, not even like acting and all that other shit.
Yeah.
I'm doing something. I like to feel that I'm on the same playing field with everybody. My age. I will say this though, directing. Sometimes I'm a little gun shy talking to actors who've done hundreds of movies.
Okay.
Where I'm just like,
because
giving direction for the simple fact you've seen them in so many things. You already automatically assume their greatness, and you're like, dude, why can't you just fucking do this? Because you're great.
Yeah.
You've done 200 movies,
Yeah.
And they still want direction, and that weirds me out sometimes. Where I'm just like, man, you really want direction on this? Like, you're fucking so and so. Like,
yeah, but they want to know what your vision is for that particular.
Totally, but I guess me as an actor, like I always going into everything, I had made my decisions, my choices, all of that stuff. If like my best gigs were when the director never said shit to me.
Yeah,
and was just like, hey man, go and do your thing. And I was like, oh, all right, right on. When I got a ton of direction, I wasn't, too crazy happy. Because I didn't feel like I had anything to do with the creative process at that point. I'm just kind of regurgitating lines.
Yeah.
But that's me.
Listen.
That's me. Look at me rambling on like a schoolgirl.
Oh my gosh.
We're at that point in the show, kids. When we talk about the revolutionary figure of the week. Can I get a little drum roll, Jabes? That's terrible. Can we insert some real drum roll? Oh God. This week is actually two people. It's a man and a woman. A man and a woman. God, it's nothing like a man and a woman, is there? Man's name is Carl Manick or Manich. And the woman her name is Helene Lowenheim. These two are German pharmaceutical chemists who in 1920 invented Vicodin.
Oh,
yeah, at the Knoll Industries in Germany.
Thank you.
Yeah, those fucking Germans, man. Look, kids, there was a studio head back in the day.
Yeah, no. Well, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah, I don't know.
Listen, you don't know? Do you have any?
I don't.
Okay, there was a studio exec. Back in the 90s that used to have Vicodin Fridays.
Yeah, which you get. You're like, oh, that's a great thing. It's a nice thing.
I think it's amazing. Yeah. But I was trying to think, you know more about that stuff than I do. So I was like, what? And I looked everywhere, like trying to find just a name.
I'm going to be honest, thinking about this out loud. Because I'm an out loud guy.
Sure.
I'm off the cuff. I'm a wild card, if you will. I would say 3/4 of those studio execs raged anyways. Therefore, it's too hard to narrow down. There wasn't like one studio that was like, oh, we're the big partiers. It was just like, oh, well, in the 90s, everybody, I'm sure, I wasn't there, but I'm sure they were all doing drugs.
Yeah.
So to pin down a specific one of wwho was the
like
guy,
Vicodin Friday
or the gal, yeah, that'd be too tough. Because there was the rules were loose back then.
Sure, Quaaludes.
Yeah. Look, the rules were loose. There was no emails.
Yeah.
There was no computers.
Yeah.
So there was no camera phones. So if you did shit or told assistants to go do shit for you or bring you drugs or whatever the fuck it is,
right?
There's no trace of it. You can't go back on that. You can't screenshot it. Can't leak an email.
Right.
Can't do anything. It's like, hey, Brian, go down to the fucking pharmacy and get me some fucking Vicodin. Obamacare didn't exist, so you could ask your doctor for whatever you wanted to back then. Hey, doc, I got a creaky knee. What's a creaky knee? I don't know. I was out chasing grasshoppers with my child. Got a real creaky knee. Gonna need some Vicodin. And they just give you a round of 50. Go party. Go party with your creaky knee. Good luck with that creaky knee syndrome. I heard that creaky knee is everywhere these days.
Old creaky knee.
Old creaky knee McGee. But these days, you got to fight tooth and fucking nail to get a goddamn pill out of somebody.
Yes.
It's a nightmare. Thanks, Obama. Fuck. It's, you know.
It does
Look,
suck.
I only go to the doctor when I need shit like that, and I can't remember the last time a doctor's openly like just, hey, here's some fucking pills.
You have pain, like chronic pain, not like too bad where
now
you're getting oxys.
You need an MRI.
Oh.
They got to call your grandparents, let them know you're taking it. You know, you go to the pharmacy. The pharmacist is now got to call your doctor. They'll give you one in a bottle, and it's like, go back to your doctor and see if you're still in pain. Then we'll give you a refill, and then you go, oh, the refill of that, just that one. I get one more pill. Yes, you get one more pill.
Oh boy, I guess it's
that's
time.
my dog. That's Regal Beagle.
Time to go.
That's my dog, Regal Beagle. That means there's someone at the back gates.
Oh boy, we better go check it out.
Maybe it's a neighbor with one single Vicodin. I don't know.
Dream.
Yeah.
Dream.
Listen, kids, it's been a fun one. I'm Ross Patterson for Jesse Wiseman and Regal Beagle, who you just heard barking up a storm. This is Ross Patterson's Revolution.